Well, hi there. Earlier this year, we reviewed the Ultimate Reptile Rumble, and we learned that in a contest that excludes Komodo dragons, because they are, at 10 feet, too big, that a 20-foot gharial is not too big, and that a herbivorous chuckwalla lizard, like this one, would beat a green mamba in a fight. Obviously, because chuckwallas are the only thing that Chuck Norris fears, which is why he goes by Chuck, even though his name is actually Carlos. I mean, that's probably the reason. But this book, it was honestly a bit of a train wreck. But this book, The Ultimate Ocean Rumble, is what first introduced me to the Who Would Win books. And it has three of my favorite animals right on the cover. A great white shark, a saltwater crocodile, which also was not allowed in the Ultimate Reptile Rumble, and a giant squid. We have phylogeny videos already for two of those three. Let me know if you would like to see a cephalopod phylogeny in the future. But my son Owen brought this book home from the library, and I started to read it to him, but we didn't finish it because I was too furious. So I don't know how this book ends. I only remember one part of the book, and to be perfectly honest, I'm still really mad about it. So let's see if I can make it all the way through this time. Let's do this. Okay, well, at least we're cutting straight to round one. I noticed that this book doesn't start with a list of the most awesome possible competitors and why they're excluded from the competition, so that's a plus. 16 sea creatures have agreed to participate in a bracketed battle. The first round has 8 matches. It's single elimination. If a creature loses, it's out of the competition. First match is walrus versus sand tiger shark. Okay, we got some facts here. Let's see. A walrus uses its whiskers to find food. Walrus tusk can reach 3 feet long. That's true. Group of sharks is called a shiver of sharks. That's cool. I didn't know that. That's cool. I've usually heard it called a school, but shiver. A sand tiger shark is also called a ragged tooth shark. That's true. Shark skin is coarse. It feels like sandpaper. That's also very true. Okay, so I'm thinking the walrus has to win this, surprisingly, because the sand tiger is a carnivore, but sand tigers really don't have any equipment that they would use or could use to kill a walrus. For one thing, a walrus is 10 times the size of a sand tiger shark. This is like a 400-pound animal versus something that weighs potentially over 4,000 pounds. 180 kilos to 2 tons. A sand tiger has no weapons that would really be able to do much damage to a walrus. Like it said there, the tusks get up to like a meter long. They're only predators. The only predators of walruses are orcas, which if they're in this, probably should win the whole thing, and polar bears, which when they're both in the water, walruses actually kill polar bears from time to time. So anyway, a sand tiger doesn't have, a sand tiger being a fish-eating shark with those long skinny teeth that aren't really built for like shearing through thick walrus hide or anything like that. They wouldn't attack a walrus, and they just don't have the weapons required to kill one. So, my prediction, walrus wins. Okay, the walrus jumps off of the ice floe and tries to outswim the sand tiger. The shark catches up and bites a flipper. Ouch! The walrus is badly hurt. Its blubber didn't protect it. The sand tiger shark wins. Okay, guess I was unaware that all you had to do was make your opponent say ouch. Duly noted. Okay. The second match in round one features a narwhal versus a torpedo fish. Okay, so interesting. The long tusk of the narwhal is actually an overgrown tooth. That's true. A narwhal is an Arctic sea mammal that breeds there. True. The torpedo fish, also known as an electric ray, leaves the ocean bottom and swims towards the narwhal. Most rays live close to the ocean floor. The jolt of electricity from a torpedo fish is strong enough to kill a person. What we've got here is a 2-foot electric ray whose electric shock is actually not life-threatening to humans, no matter what it says right here. And that's going to be up against an 18-foot whale with an 8+ foot tusk that eats flat benthic fishes that are much larger than a torpedo fish. I see no way that the torpedo fish could kill a narwhal, but I do think that the electric shock could make a narwhal say, ouch, So in a death match, this is narwhal all day, every day. But in a first to say ouch match, I guess my money's on the torpedo fish. So let's see how this goes. Okay. The torpedo fish attempts to give an electric shock to the narwhal. The intelligent narwhal scores a direct hit with its long, pointy tusk. Narwhal wins. Okie dokie. Just so you know, narwhals, they don't use their tusk like that. They will actually, and we just recently discovered this, they will use the tusk while hunting fish, but they don't spear them like this. They wave it very quickly in the water and stun the fish, and then they go around and gulp them up. So, you know, because that tooth, even though it's a tooth, they can't bring it into the mouth. So if it just spears prey with that tusk, well, then it just is a narwhal that now has a big old fish impaled on its tusk. And just for the record, that tusk is usually, I think, the left canine tooth. And it's usually seen only in males, but around 15% of females do grow one as well. And this is just kind of a cool thing about the tusk, but given that it's primarily found in males, but females live longer, it's generally assumed that the tusk is not really a very important structure when it comes to survival generally. But it probably has something to do with obtaining a mate. So this isn't how they use it. They'll kind of wiggle it really quickly, but they don't spear stuff generally. But the winner seems appropriate, so let's move on. Okay. The third match has a killer whale against a sea snake. The orca wants nothing to do with snakes. Snakes? Yuck. Yuck? Okay. I don't know that is the opinion of orcas on sea snakes. If it is, orcas have a very incorrect opinion of sea snakes. Do you know a killer whale is also known as an orca? I did know that. Killer whales are always black and white. Most live in groups called a pod. It's usually true. Killer whale that does not belong to a pod is called a rogue. All right. So killer whale versus sea snake. Doesn't look like a fair fight. A giant sea mammal versus a skinny little reptile. Watch out, killer whale. A deadly poisonous snake. Okay. So just FYI, poison and venom are not exactly the same thing. This is a very venomous snake. It's not a poisonous snake. There are some poisonous snakes in the world, like keelback snakes, maybe some garter snakes, and maybe some hognose snakes that are poisonous because they consume poisonous amphibians. But this is a venomous snake, and venom needs to be injected. So they're both toxins, but venom needs to be injected. So it's a subtle difference, but it's not a poisonous snake. It says sea snakes have a tail shaped like an oar. Fun fact, sea snakes look like eels, but they are not fish, they are reptiles. I would say that the fact that snakes are not fish is debatable. Some say. Okay, I see no scenario where a sea snake kills an orca. And really even very few scenarios where it would score the first ouch. Honestly, depending on what else is included, I think the orca has a very good shot to win this whole competition. That's, of course, assuming that a chuckwalla doesn't float out to sea and enter the competition. All right, let's see. Killer whale wins! Surprise, surprise. Wham! The killer whale doesn't fool around. It knows the sea snake carries deadly poison, venom. The killer whale pins the snake and breaks its bones, because snakes do have bones. The snake never saw it coming. The killer whale will be moving on to the next round. Okay, well, so no surprise there at the particular winner. Sea snakes live in the ocean and come on land only to lay their eggs. That is not true. They don't. Sea snakes are ovoviviparous, which means they give live birth, and they do so in the water. That said, this snake, the snake that they actually depict here in all these pictures, does not appear to be a sea snake at all. From all appearances, this is a banded sea crate. And sea crates are not sea snakes. True sea snakes are more closely related to Australian elapids, whereas sea crates like this one are more closely related to cobras. They both live in the ocean, but are not one another's closest relatives. And sea crates are oviparous, which means they lay eggs and they lay them on land. So this fact is true about the snake pictured right here, but it is not true of the snake that they're claiming it to be. The facts were accurate was really the only strength of the Ultimate Reptile Rumble, and I'm starting to see why I never finished this one. I can already see what's happening here. This next battle is the one that caused me to stop reading this book. I'm already more pained than I was for the Reptile Rumble in general, and that was before this outrage. This is leatherback sea turtle versus Portuguese man-o-war. And now it is nice to see that the leatherback makes an appearance, since it was not allowed in the competition. You remember the competition where a 20-foot-long gharial was permitted? And I'm gonna have to relax myself. I can make it through this. Our fourth match in round 1 has a Portuguese man-o-war facing off against a leatherback turtle. Fact: man-o-war is not a jellyfish. That's true. Fun fact: the tentacles of a man-o-war can reach more than 100 feet in length. That's also true. A man-o-war is a siphonophore. True. That means it is actually made up of hundreds of smaller sea creatures. And that is awesome. I really wasn't even sure if colonies of animals were allowed. Makes me think there should have been a pod of orcas. Let's see, one more fact. Turtles are reptiles, and turtles do not have teeth. This match showcases an excellent swimmer versus a drifter. The leatherback turtle's legs are like wings. Okay, so there were a lot of cool facts here. But there is one little fact that they left out, and that would be that leatherback sea turtles are often called gelatinivores. And that's because they feed almost exclusively on soft-bodied prey, particularly cnidarians, like jellyfish and man-o-wars. They are highly invulnerable to cnidarian stings, just for the record. Okay, so this is like a battle of milkweed versus monarch butterfly caterpillar, or mongoose versus cobra, just for a little perspective. Okay, I think you're ready. Probably not. The leatherback turtle is careless and swims into the stinging tentacles of the man-o-war. The stinging poison, which is venom, gets in its eyes, nose, and throat. It proves to be deadly. Man-o-war wins. This is the point where I stopped reading this before. I won't even mention the sizes here. Man-o-wars can have long tentacles, like many siphonophores, but the bell is around 6 inches across. That's like a foot at most, 15 to 30 centimeters. So looking at this picture, apparently this is a baby leatherback sea turtle. Because they talk about the sizes here. A leatherback turtle is the largest of all turtles. They can grow up to 7 feet long and weigh up to 2,000 pounds. And that's pretty accurate. And you know what? Even baby sea turtles eat man-o-wars with no apparent concern for stings. So even if this is baby leatherback versus man-o-war, this still makes no sense at all. I have never ever been past this point. But if the giant squid ends up killing a sperm whale, I'm done with this book, okay? That is where I draw the line. This is so much worse than the Reptile Rumble. Okay. Let us press on. Polar bear versus stonefish. What is a polar bear doing in an ocean book? Polar bears are considered sea mammals. They live on Arctic Ocean ice. Did you know polar bears are also called ice bears? A polar bear can smell a seal from 1 mile away. At the shoreline, the polar bear takes a walk into the ocean. The bear doesn't know there's a stonefish patiently waiting for a fish dinner to swim by. Do you know stonefish spikes can pierce a boot? Okay, now you may already know quite a bit about polar bears. We got to talk about them quite a bit in our video about all of the bears. But stonefish you might know less about. Stonefish are venomous. Some of them hang out in the water column like lionfish, but most are benthic ambush predators found mostly on coral reefs in tropical and subtropical waters. And they are the most venomous of all non-tetrapod fish. They inject venom through spines in their dorsal fins. That's if they're stepped upon. Now, I don't think polar bears spend much time out on tropical reefs, but if they did, this seems like a fight that probably happens by accident. And the polar bear would probably be the first one to say ouch. But the venom generally isn't even fatal to humans, so if somebody would be to die in an interaction, it would probably be the stonefish. So who's gonna win here? I have no idea. Let's go with stonefish stings bear and bear runs away. Stonefish wins. The stonefish is camouflaged and looks like a rock. On the bottom, oops, the polar bear steps on the stonefish. Ouch! The stonefish's deadly poison will kill the polar bear. I thought the ouch was enough. The ugly stonefish will move on to the second round. Okay. It's a fair outcome in that the stonefish won, because it would probably be the first one to say ouch, would be the polar bear, so it would be the first one to cause an ouch. But I would be very, very surprised if a polar bear actually died from a stonefish sting, but whatever. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Saltwater crocodile versus giant squid. The next match is the one everyone has been waiting for. It's still the first round, match number 6. Saltwater crocodile versus giant squid. Okay, saltwaters are called salties. Saltwater crocodile is the largest reptile in the world. Yikes, they can measure 20 feet long. Even longer. Because if they were only 20 feet long, they would have been allowed in the reptile rumble. Okay, saltwater crocodile is an ambush predator. It patiently waits for the giant squid to swim nearby. The squid is looking for something to eat. The giant squid has 8 legs and 2 feet are arms. The underside of its legs are covered with suction cups. This is at least a truly interesting fight. It would need to happen in shallow water, as saltwater crocodiles are not capable of diving to the depths where giant squid are generally found. Salties do get over 20 feet long, and they can weigh over a ton. So that wasn't that inaccurate. You know, and when we talked about salties in great detail in our video about all of the crocodilians. But we've not discussed giant squid before. And I love giant squid. Despite what it says here, giant squid have no legs. They have 8 arms and 2 tentacles. So the numbers were right, but I suspect that maybe like a total of 11 minutes were spent researching this entire book before they wrote it. It's so bad. I don't even know where you would find this wrong information. Let's talk a little more about giant squid though. So, they may get longer than this. We really don't know a ton about them because we've had very few opportunities to examine giant squid, but it seems that they max out somewhere around 13 meters, which is about 43 feet long, with a mantle around 2 meters, which is just a bit under 7 feet, and they weigh somewhere like 275 kilos, which is just over 600 pounds. So a saltwater crocodile is larger than a giant squid, but giant squid are faster than a saltwater crocodile, and they're certainly more agile. They can also strike very quickly and from great distance with their tentacles. Both of these animals are intelligent, but you know, and the animals in these books, like the orca before, they seem to be given some sort of like human level knowledge of their adversaries, which is pretty silly. If this battle happens in the shallows, where giant squid are not known to go at all, I give the crocodile a very real chance of winning. But if it would ever happen in real life, it would probably happen near the surface out in the open ocean. And I suspect that the squid would attack from below, quickly wrap the crocodile in its arms, and while the crocodile's skin may be difficult for the giant squid to penetrate with its beak, I think the immobilized crocodile would eventually drown in the depths of the sea. And I don't think anybody knows how potent giant squid venom may be. But if the beak does break the skin, that could become a factor as well. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Saltwater crocodile flaps its huge tail and attacks in a burst of energy. It grabs the squid and takes a huge bite. The giant squid shoots ink, but Salty doesn't even notice. Saltwater crocodile wins. It's off to the second round. So I guess this battle happened in the shallows. It has every appearance that that's what occurred. It's not what I expected, but it's one of the least outrageous things that has happened so far in this book, so I can just move on. Finally, the world-famous great white shark has entered the tournament. It's match number 7. Great white shark versus giant manta ray. The great white shark is going to win, or we are done with this book. The manta rays don't even have a barb on their tails. It stands absolutely no chance. These are both among my favorite of all animals. I would really hate to see this battle ever actually happen. But this is one of the few battles that actually probably happens from time to time. And so the great white shark darn well better win this. There's no way for a manta ray to beat a great white shark in a fight. The fearless shark goes right after the giant manta ray and bites it in the face. The great white shark enjoys the meal. Okay, great white shark wins. That makes 2 whole pages in a row without anything outrageous. That is progress. I'd like to take a moment just to say thank you to our patrons at Patreon. And if you would like to see an entire video about who would win these battles, as predicted not by Jerry Palatoa, but by artificial intelligence, we've got a whole video for you over on Patreon, so check it out. It's the last match of round 1. The sailfish meets up with a blue-ringed octopus. Dorsal fin allows the sailfish to make sharp turns. That's true. Sailfish is the fastest fish in the ocean. It can swim up to 90 miles per hour. So sailfish are the fastest, but they're not 90 miles per hour fast. This isn't difficult information to find. So I guess the streak is over. It's speed against poison, fish versus mollusk. Many scientists say the blue-ringed octopus has the deadliest venom in all the ocean. Definition: venom is liquid poison injected by an animal. Okay, so we were off to you know, like we had 2 good pages, and then we had this claim that they go 90 miles an hour, which they don't. And then they finally referred to a venomous creature as being venomous, and then they told us that venom was poison. So, but at least they said it's injected, and that's true. So that's pretty good. Okay, anyway, the sailfish should win here. Blue-ringed octopuses have a very toxic bite, but they're very small and would not see a sailfish as a potential prey item. Sailfishes eat schooling fish, squid, and octopuses. And though a bite would be bad, they're billfish. And so what they do is they incapacitate their prey with a quick swipe of the bill. And this is just kind of an interesting thing, but individual sailfish, they tend to specialize on either attacking from the left or the right. But most billfish are not ambiswipers. So, you know, this isn't like great white versus manta ray level lopsided, but it's almost that lopsided. So sailfish darn well better win this. The sailfish leaves deep water and swims near the coral reef looking for food. The blue-ringed octopus gets startled and jumps on the sailfish's back. As the fish shifts into high gear, the octopus injects its venom. The sailfish is out of the tournament. So blue-ringed octopus wins. Of course it does. Okay, so we made it through round 1, which is a lot farther than I made it before. I might need a minute though, just to deal with that round. These books, they should not be called Who Would Win. I think they should be called Is It Possible Somehow for This to Happen? Okay, let's do this. Ding ding ding, round 2 has begun. Narwhal versus sand tiger shark. Okay, it's rare, but some narwhals have 2 tusks, that's true. Narwhals live in the Arctic, not the Antarctic. Also true. Okay, so narwhal versus sand tiger shark. A fish against a whale is a great matchup. The narwhal has to come up for air, the shark doesn't. Who has the advantage? Rays and sharks have no bones, their skeletons are made of cartilage. Cartilage is not bone, it's what your ears and nose are made of. That's true. Okay, so good. So the reality is these 2 animals wouldn't fight. Like I was saying before, the narwhal uses its tooth to hunt small fish in a similar way to the way that the sailfish uses its bill. Sand tigers, their teeth are not suited to biting chunks out of large prey. Maybe for making walruses say ouch, but that's about as far as it goes. So neither of these guys are really properly suited to hunting the other one. I guess the narwhal could accidentally spear a sand tiger, but it would be an accident. So let's see what happens. Okay. The narwhal and the sand tiger fight back and forth. The long tusk prevents the narwhal from making fast turns. The narwhal is no match for the shark. The shark wins. Fun fact, narwhals do not have a dorsal fin. Okay, so the sand tiger wins. Do you notice that there is no mention here of any physical harm coming to either of these animals? I guess this was just a dance-off.
When all he had to do was turn left.
I've never heard anywhere that the tusk has any significant impact on mobility or maneuverability, but here we are. This is so much worse than the Reptile Rumble. I knew I didn't make it through this book, but I wasn't prepared for this. Round 2, match 2. The killer whale swims over to meet up with the man-o-war. Okay, so killer whale versus man-o-war. Uh-oh, it's a trick. Not one, but hundreds of man-o-wars are in the water. The man-o-war can definitely make you say, ouch. But the orca is a more purposeful turner, which apparently is a thing. And the man-o-war stings, they're rarely fatal for humans, let alone a 4-ton whale. And yes, dolphins are whales. So here we go. Okay, so highly intelligent orca is favored to win the competition. Most orcas have 48 teeth, 24 in the upper jaw, 24 in the lower jaw. Humans have 32 teeth. The man-o-war can deflate its air bladder and hide below the surface. Okay. Uh-oh! It's a trick! Not one, but hundreds of man-o-wars are in the water. I was being kind of cheeky earlier when I asked about the colonial organisms, but now, for no apparent reason, there are hundreds of man-o-wars against, I assume, a single orca, not a pod of orcas. Nope, just one orca. So, a pod of orcas would definitely win this whole thing, but it looks like we got one orca versus hundreds of man-o-wars. Honestly, just this one orca would still, well, what it would probably do is swim by without paying much attention to all the man-o-wars. They're too small to be worth hunting, and they pose no real danger to a whale. If it gets a couple of stings while it's in the neighborhood, it probably just dives down and gets out of the area. But, I don't know what the standard of victory is. Does it need to kill all of the man-o-wars? Does it just need to kill one of the man-o-wars? Because it might kill one by accident. And, orcas do sometimes play with and even eat jellyfish, which are similar in form to man-o-wars. So I'm going to go with the orca in the real world, but I really have a bad feeling about this. The orca's supposed to win this whole thing. The orca should win this entire competition. The killer whale accidentally sucks a man-o-war into its blowhole. And the poison and stinging tentacles enter the whale's lungs. The killer whale is in big trouble. Its mouth, tongue, sinuses, and lungs are burning from the deadly man-o-war's chemicals. It withdraws from the competition. So it didn't die, it just sucked him. It's like, ugh. Sadly, the much-anticipated match between the killer whale and the saltwater crocodile, I didn't know we were looking forward to that, but it's not going to happen. It's always next year. So it sucks the man-o-war into its blowhole. Because it apparently forgot to surface before it inhaled. It is probably possible somehow for this to happen. Maybe. Is this who would win? No. I don't know if I can take any more of this. I am experiencing physical pain. This is agony. Round 2. Match 3. This time it is saltwater crocodile versus stonefish. If this was a beauty contest, no one would want a photo taken with either creature. Well, that's rude. The croc should win. It won't, because the stonefish will get in the throat of the saltwater crocodile, preventing its palatal valve from closing and causing its stomach to fill with water. Or the stonefish will do a faster 360. Or the crocodile will stub its toe and go ouch. Something like that will happen. The crocodile uses a smart tactic. While the stonefish is motionless on the bottom of the ocean, the crocodile uses its 3-foot jaws to bite the stonefish sideways. Crunch! The spines never touch the crocodile, so I'm trying to envision this. So the fish is this way. Its jaws go this way, so it turns its jaws sideways so it can bite it and compress it laterally. Instead of biting down on it dorsoventrally like it normally does, compress it laterally so it doesn't get spined, because this crocodile knows things that crocodiles don't know about stonefish. But at least we have the right winner here. Good enough. Good enough. The reptile is won. The stonefish is dead. Saltwater crocodile is going to the semifinals. So this is the right outcome, but they still found a way to make it absurd. Are we almost done with this? Okay, this is the last match of round 2. Thank goodness. Great white shark versus blue-ringed octopus. Everyone expects the great white shark to advance to the finals. Yes. Yes, they do. The great white shark should win this. The only question really is how. I'm going to go with the shark kills the octopus with the frickin' laser beam attached to its head. Because why not? Simple enough request. Blue-ringed octopus wins. Of course it does. The great white shark tries to swallow the blue-ringed octopus. But the shifty octopus doesn't get swallowed right away. Gets into the shark's gills. 1, 2, 3 seconds, and the shark cannot shake the octopus. The octopus injects its deadly venom. At least we're right there. The shark is losing consciousness. The great white shark stops swimming and sinks. It's not looking so great. The blue-ringed octopus moves on to the next round. How could I have not considered any other outcome for even 1 second? I feel like such a fool. This is the worst book I have ever read in my entire life. Okay, I have one more of these. I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do this again. I'm gonna need a long time to recover from this one. Okay, round 3. The second round is over. Should we call the next 2 matches the third round or the semifinals? Basketball, it's called the Final Four. Ice hockey, it's called the Frozen Four. We now present the Ocean Four. I can do this. I can do this. Okay. Man-o-war versus sand tiger shark. The man-o-war that just beat an orca. The same orca that commonly kills great white sharks. Just eat their livers. And now that man-o-war will have to face a much less daunting foe, but a foe with incredible turning ability and no blowhole. So I assume that the man-o-war and its hundreds of buddies have finally met their match. But I have no idea. The shark should win. Give it a frickin' laser beam, for crying out loud. Okay. Sand tiger shark flicks its tail to break the man-o-war into pieces. Seems like a good start. The shark gets stung, but it shakes it off. The shark has tooth-like skin. The man-o-war gets caught in a current and washes up on the beach. The sun's heat kills the beached man-o-war, which was already broken to pieces. Watch out! Even dead, it's still poisonous. No, it's not. Don't ever touch one. The sand tiger moves on to the final. Okay, so the sand tiger wins. That's good. How? Flicks its tail. Does it get stung? Yeah, sure, but this time it's no biggie. I have no strength left. Let this end or let me die. Just let me die. Okay, 2 more. And now the other half of the Ocean Four. Saltwater crocodile versus blue-ringed octopus. Salty is defeated, giant squid, and stonefish. Okay, so the saltwater crocodile should win. Given what's left in this competition, it should win the whole thing. But, what does that have to do with anything? Chomp! It's one lightning-fast bite. The saltwater crocodile chomps the blue-ringed octopus in 2. The octopus didn't have time to figure out how to bite the reptile that weighs 1,000 times more than itself. So that's how biting works. That silly great white shark. No idea how to bite stuff. Final round. It's the final match of the tournament. Sand tiger shark versus saltwater crocodile. Can the rugged shark beat the nastiest reptile on Earth? I mean, the reality here is saltwater crocodiles may actually eat sand tiger sharks from time to time. So, saltwater crocodile should win. Crocodile positions itself just right and delivers a fatal bite to the shark. It's over. The biggest, meanest reptile on Earth wins. The saltwater crocodile wins the ultimate ocean rumble. This is one way the competition might have ended. No, it's really not. How would you rewrite the brackets? And maybe because, maybe this is the way it worked out because all of the other contenders were ridiculously eliminated earlier. It's like they were trying to make up for excluding the saltwater crocodile from the ultimate reptile rumble. The orca wins this. And it wins it by a landslide. This competition, the whole competition, is just a game for them. This was brutal. This was so much more painful than I expected. Do you really want to put me through this one more time? As always, I guess, maybe dislike. I have disliked this experience greatly. So like or dislike, but still subscribe. And we hope to see you real soon. That was just brutal. So we're getting right to the first battle. So that's step in the right direction. I noticed that this book doesn't start with a list of the most awesome possible competitors. You might not get to sit there the whole time if you're going to be a distraction. You might have just been there for the intro. Is that what you want? Okay. Yep, that's what you want.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm better than I was, honestly, the other day.
You were that angry?
Oh, I just had to lay on the floor.
Wow. That's pretty intense.
Well, I wasn't emotionally prepared. I was emotionally prepared for the Ultimate Reptile Rumble. And this was so much worse. Wildebeest versus grass. Oh, wildebeest chokes to death on grass. Stupid wildebeest.
All right, so I asked the AI who would win.
In each one?
Yeah, do you want to hear any of the specific
I
competitions?
guarantee to you the AI can't be as dumb. The AI has to have done more than 7 minutes of research. You know, and some of the wrong facts. Like, when are these books written? Because it has to predate Google. 2015. You can't, like, if you Google some of these questions, like, how fast is a freaking sailfish? It's not like you're getting numbers all over the place. Like, it's pretty much just like 68 miles an hour. Nowhere is saying 90, so I don't know where you end up with 90.